still the best promo in the business. For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, and for all the Auburn fans who sat at home and decided to roll Toomer's corner when Alabama lost when they did 0 to get to the postseason, this is the Bama Standard. I'm your host, over-the-hill powerlifter Justin Riley. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, the all-SEC linebacker, and 1,000 other accolades, Mr. Marvin Constant. And then a man who definitely needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway because he's that big of a deal. From Touchdown Alabama Magazine, the senior analyst, and the man who keeps Paul Feinbaum employed, Mr. Stephen M. Smith. What's up, fellas?
Don't you ever say that again. I'm trying to keep Paul open, but Paul is Paul. So, yeah.
Hey. It's a pleasure as always, fellas. I got a question for you. Justin, Are you streaming this on your Facebook?
It's on the Carolyn's Treasure Shop Facebook page.
Man, why don't I ever see that when I try to share it on my live?
I don't know, man. I guess you hadn't been accepted into the fold quite yet, brother. We need to talk about your memberships.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I'm looking for it because I wanted to stream it live from my page, but clearly I'm missing something.
Hold on. So I understand, Marvin, that on this side is your jersey, but what's the other picture?
Our actual guest is on this picture. This was the actual proof from Daniel Moore's The Block.
Oh.
So that's actually Terrence Cody, Julio Jones, and Rolando McClain. Y'all have never paid attention to that picture. It's been here the entire time.
I mean, but Marvin, it's so small in comparison to your jersey picture.
I mean, the jersey is it's a real jersey, though. It's just game worn. So this thing is huge. I mean, I'm not a small person, man.
I understand that. I'm just making an observation.
Marvin, while we wait on our guest, he'll be here in about 10 minutes. What we like to do is start every show with one of the best segments in the world, and that's Constant Chaos, where Marvin talks about what's going on that's stirring things up, whether it's Alabama or just in the world period. But Marvin, what you got for us this week?
I really wish Steve was here for this because he would wholeheartedly understand this. So clearly, I've been doing everything wrong in life. Clearly, I have been taking the wrong approach.
Okay.
Clearly, I go to work on time. I actually get to work early. I do my job. I do it well. I do the extra stuff. I am what you consider the model employee. When I say my director comes to me and he tells all these people, this is who you should strive to be like. I train people. It is a phenomenal situation.
Right.
But clearly I'm doing something wrong because Pete Golden sucks ass at his job and just got a $250,000 raise for doing that shit that he does. How do you give him a $250,000 raise to get our asses handed to us? This dude is making $1.6 million to call bad defenses. Oh my God. What the hell? Clearly, I'm doing something wrong in life because my job isn't giving me those type of raises. Right. And I'm doing everything right. When I seen that, I said, what the hell? How do you I'm dazed. I'm confused.
Right.
Like, what has he done to warrant a $250,000 raise? Surely it's not a cost of living increase because it's in Tuscaloosa. Cost of living in Tuscaloosa ain't went up that much.
I hear your point. But
come on, man. Like Randy Moss said, come on, man. A $250,000 for what? What has he done to deserve a $250,000 raise besides let Ole Miss hand us our ass? Florida almost handed us our ass. Again, what has he done to warrant giving him a $250,000 raise, raising his salary to $1.6 million? You need to take off 3 of them zeros off his salaries. At the most, he need to be making $16,000 for the job that he does. Man, that dude is terrible.
I feel you. Maybe to make you feel a little bit better, Stephen M. Smith, and you possibly, speaking objectively, shed a little bit of light on the subject to maybe ease Marvin's conscience a little bit?
Ain't nothing he gonna make me ease my conscience. You gave Pete Golding a $250,000 raise when he is trash, man. Listen, dude. Hey, man, come on. I'm sorry, man. No. I ain't there nobody can say to justify that. You give hands down the worst defensive coordinator we've had forever. Worst ever in history. Worst ever.
Steven?
You take that up, Marvin.
He is
you
trash,
take that up, Marvin.
No.
Take Marvin. Let me speak here. I was going to say you take it up with the board of trustees. They gave him the money. You take it up with the University of Alabama board of trustees. They vote on this stuff.
They vote on it. No more money. If y'all taking the money that I'm donating to give Pete Golding a $250,000 raise, my funding has officially cut off. I got better things to do with my money than give a trash defensive coordinator another raise. Yes, he won a national championship, Mike. We know that. But he didn't win off the strength of defense. If our offense was not putting up the points that they would, we would have lost to Ole Miss. We would have lost to Florida. I mean, and we wouldn't even be playing for the national championship. So the offense actually carried him. Right. And that was a lot of very questionable calls in situations where
and Marvin, and also Marvin, Nick Saban also said that the offense carried it.
And Nick also was the one who probably gave him a raise. I mean, this is probably one of those participation trophies. You know, this is the thing.
Participation trophy.
He got a participation trophy because he was on the team.
Can I have a participation trophy too, especially for that amount?
$1 million, man, please. What you mean? How many championships did I win? Man, listen, I won the SEC championship. We went to the BCS Orange Bowl. You see that 45 right there, 1999. You see that SEC champion. More championships than you won, Mike. How many did you win? And we ain't talking about Little League football. Pop Warner.
Well, joining the craziness right now is none other than a true Alabama legend, an icon, an All-American, and somebody that's going to be on our Mount Rushmore, Mr. Terrence Mount Cody.
Mike got jokes. Somebody
Mike got more jokes, man. Mike's coming with it.
from the Alabama-Michigan game. Michigan, yes, Tom Brady came in the second half. Yeah.
Hey,
but it's still Alabama football, baby.
Hey, Marvin, I think we have an audience member here who might be onto something. Mr. James Knox says Nick is paying him like he wants to keep him, so everyone will want to hire him soon.
You might make a valid point. Hopefully somebody come in and come steal him.
But is it at the cost of us, winning a possible game?
So I have all these footballs in this room, right? This is one of my favorite balls, though, man. Do y'all see who that is signed right there by that A?
Man. Hey, Mike still.
Whose name is that right there by that A?
There's a lot of them, man.
No.
Mal Moore?
Mal Moore, the man who brought Nick Saban to Alabama. Mal Moore is one of my favorite people from Alabama. I tell you that, man.
Oh, yeah, talk to us a little bit about him.
Coach Moore, man, he was one of the nicest people you would ever meet, man. When I say you could go into his office and talk to him about anything, I've never seen an AD with the open door policy like him. Literally, whatever's on your mind, you could go to his office. I could call, even after I left, I could call on the phone. His secretary is like, "Who is it?" I tell him my name. Oh, he said, "Patch you right through." Okay. And we would have actual conversations. We talk 20, 30 minutes. I tell him whatever, and we go about our business. One of the nicest people you would ever meet, man. When I say Alabama lost a great one when he passed, because that man did so much for the university. He was truly one of the greatest.
He was. I'm trying to see when his statue coming.
It needs to.
It's been up.
Yeah.
Hold on, it been up.
I said it should have been up.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People don't recognize this, but it was actually Coach Mal who really got the boosters off Saban back.
That's right.
Because remember, A lot of them boosters in 07 was trying to get at Nick. You know, Mal was like, hey, back up. He finna run this thing where he want to run this thing. So it was Mal who had that muscle back then. I believe ever since Mal died, which was back in 2013, it's been kind of a thing with Saban to try to stand on his own muscle, because for so long he had been standing on Mal Moore's muscle.
Well, he knew Mal was going to take care of whatever had to be taken care of. He knew Mal was going to truly be his shield. You know, nothing was going to get past Mal to affect Nick in any way, because when I say Mal was a coach's AD and he was a player's AD, he really would look out for you. He did everything he could to make sure everybody in that organization was in the best position that they could actually be in. And like I said, most ADs, you don't have that type of access to most athletic directors. You know, you can't just knock on the door. Most of them say, come on in and have a seat. That does not happen too often.
No, and that was very typical of, you know, like Gene Stallings' coaching staff. They had that type of approach when it came to the players, when it came to the media, when it came to, you know, whoever, you know, would come into the room. But yeah, to your point, Marvin, Mal made a very huge pivotal decision to give Saban complete control, because if he hadn't, Nick Saban wouldn't have been at Alabama.
Still in Miami, probably.
Well, I don't know, man. I think the itch for college football was far greater than staying over there at the beach. But, you know, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I would have stayed at the beach.
Well, we know what you would. Maybe that's what you were doing during the Orange Bowl.
Guns out, baby. I want to unveil something to you guys anyway. So we're starting a new segment. It's called the Depth Chart. It's going to be at 7:45 every Tuesday. But since we're waiting on TC, we can go ahead and jump into the depth chart. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the man who knows more about Alabama football in terms of recruiting, player development stats, NFL, combines, pro days, spring practice, you name it, he knows it. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Stephen M. Smith. What do you have for us? What is the depth chart talking about?
All right, so the depth chart right now is going to be pro day edition. Going to be pro day edition on this one right here. And so today, I mean, everybody in the NFL was in Tuscaloosa. The prize that people were looking at, no doubt about it, was Mac Jones. And when you look at the San Francisco 49ers were in Tuscaloosa, they had John Lynch was down to the GM. Kyle Shanahan was down with the head coach. And San Fran made the jump from the 13th pick to the number 3 overall pick. They traded up 10 spots. So a lot of people feel like, well, you know, why the 49ers did that? They got Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't need to be doing that. Well, Jimmy G hasn't always been healthy. Let's be honest. He's played one full season, which was 2019. And when he finally got the guy to the Super Bowl, Jimmy G missed the passes, including one to Emmanuel Sanders, which if he would have hit, San Francisco more than likely wins the Super Bowl. It does not happen. So now San Fran feels like we respect Garoppolo, but maybe there's a guy in this draft that can get us to where we need to go to, i.e., they were in Tuscaloosa watching Mac Jones. Also, Josh McDaniels was down here. And, of course, the Saints were in Tuscaloosa as well. So Mac had a bomb pro day, ran a 4.6 840, 32-inch vertical, 10-foot broad jump, moving around cone drills and whatnot. But when it came to throwing the football, hit on every ball except for maybe 2 or 3. And that was because in the first pro day, he was throwing to not Devontae Smith, not Jalen Waddle, but other guys. So this pro day, he had Devontae Smith back out there. He had Najee Harris back out there. To me, I see Mac Jones top 10 pick. Will the 49ers get him? I would like to see him go to Cali Swag. But we shall see what happens because you still got the Patriots who need to make a move. Do they stay at 15? Do they trade up? The Saints would be really interesting for him, but the Saints have the number 28 overall pick. What the heck do they do? Do they package together some guys, maybe trade up? We'll see what happens. But, Matt had a good pro day. Najee Harris showed his whole route tree, which means he's trying to be like Alvin Kamara meets Christian McCaffrey. So he not only did the wheel routes and the swing routes, but he ran some post patterns. He ran some fade routes. He had some deep ball patterns going. So Najee Harris is showing you, hey, I got the whole arsenal flowing right here. Some people have him going to the Steelers at pick 24. Me personally, I think Miami at pick 18. They still have a number 18 pick. Miami should take Najee at 18. I think that happens. And then Smitty, Devontae went out there even with the purple finger on his hand, still went out there and competed, ran some routes, really impressed some coaches out there. He dropped some jaws there, on some coaches. So to me, from the pro day depth chart, I look at Alabama's going to have at least 5 guys in that first round. I think Matt goes first round, Najee goes first round, Smitty goes first round, Waddle goes first round. The 5th guy that goes first round is Surtain. My bad. I think 6 guys go first round. The 6th guy, watch Landon Dickerson. I think he is close to 100. Brother was doing cartwheels out there at pro day. Watch Landon Dickerson. He's close to 100%. So
what about the other lineman that they got coming out?
Leatherwood.
Yes.
I think Leatherwood could. The issue with Alex Leatherwood, though, is at the Senior Bowl, he had some problems against those real edge rushers. He had some problems blocking those guys. There were a few possessions where he did really well, and there were a few positions where they got the best of him. He's more of a finesse Cam Robinson, if you remember when Big Cam played here. So he's more of a finesse Cam Robinson to me. If he goes first, someone gets him probably at that back part of the first round between picks 25 and 32. However, I more so see Leatherwood going within the first 5 picks of the second round.
Okay.
Good deal, man. We appreciate the rundown while you were giving us that great info. Mr. Terrence Cody has arrived.
TC!
Welcome in, brother.
What's going on? Now, I gotta go ahead and say this to you, Mr. Cody. As a former Alabama player, only person on my walls are me. But you made the wall with the block right there. That is every other picture in this room is all me.
Okay. I gotta say, Terrence, I gotta say this, bro. I gotta say this. When you made that block in 2009, because my family, we were bootlegging cable at the time. So as we were bootlegging cable, so the cable went out. The cable went out. Okay, the moment Daniel Lincoln attempts the field goal, my TV goes black. I'm like, oh man, no. So I'm running down the stairs, right? I turn it on. All I see is Big 62 and the earth shaking. I'm like, Cody, look at this. I'm like, praise God for nearly 400-pound dudes. Praise God.
I ain't gonna lie though. When you blocked it, I was like, you took your helmet. I was like, please don't call the penalty. Please don't call the penalty.
No, bro, bump that. I was like, praise Jesus. 400 pounds.
But
Cody, real talk. Real talk. You won my uncle $200 that day. No, you won $200 that day. For real. My auntie was about to, for real, my auntie was about to divorce him. You won $200 that day.
I hope y'all put it on the cable bill and stop bootlegging cable.
Exactly. You're taking somebody else's cable.
Man, bro.
Oh man.
TC.
Hold on. If y'all were bootlegging, hold on, Steve. Hold on. If y'all were bootlegging cable, y'all probably took that $200 and went and bought some potted meat and crackers or something else.
No, Marvin, you being funny, man.
You said potted meat and crackers.
Marvin, you being funny. TC over here saving marriages, and you being funny.
Man, he got a
I think I
ministry
saved a
going.
lot of marriages that day, man. I saved a lot of marriages that game.
Hey, Cody, you fed them for a whole month with that $200.
You did, man. He didn't realize he was an outreach ministry that day.
For 70 cents a day, you can feed
I didn't even realize I
family.
I didn't even realize I blocked the kick. Everybody started screaming because it hit my armpit. It hit me up under my armpit and stuff. And I just heard the stadium go crazy and stuff. And
It
First
felt like a
instinct,
net.
take
It
the
felt
hit
like
off,
a net on
start
you, didn't it, when
running.
it hit you?
Hey, for real though. Cody saved marriages and at the hood.
Yeah.
Man, and we're gonna get to that moment a little bit later, but we definitely want to honor this man right now by talking about his whole career. Hey, but there's something I want to dial it back, press rewind a little bit, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I heard back in high school, man, that you once hit Noel Devine so hard and spun him, you sent him to the sideline, and brother was throwing up, man. What did you do to that man?
Yeah, man. I knocked him out the game for the second half. And so he didn't get back in until overtime. Basically fourth quarter, and he scored to put him in overtime, and then he came back full tilt in overtime, and we actually won in overtime that game. That was a big game that year.
Yeah, man.
Now hold on, though, Cody. Hold on. I want to back a little bit too. So I actually was an intern when I thought I wanted to coach. When I finished playing football, I thought I wanted to coach. So I was an intern down there in 2009. I remember when you got there and you were overweight. You looked like you wanted to kill Scott on many a days, boy, out there running.
Hey, let's talk about that.
Hey, running them 110s, you were not with that program at all.
I never quit. And I never quit.
Okay, so Cody, I gotta ask this.
Hold on, you never quit, but Big T used to be on you too, though, boy.
Man. This lives with me to this day. He say, lose the gut, lose the weight. Without that mindset and stuff, man, I have never been able to move on because I had to cut that weight off somehow and stuff, and that was gonna keep me from moving to the next.
Man, I tell you this, most people don't understand how pivotal and how much of a role Coach Jones played in people's lives, because he was there when I was there back in 98 to 01. He's been at Alabama forever. He has impacted more lives in Alabama than anybody else.
So, Cody, so you taught Marcel to knock McCoy out the game, right?
I told him because it's on that play, like I called it. I was like, bro, you already know what they're going to do. It was nasty. It was nasty. Took him out, and that kind of ruined his football career, because after that hit, man, he was never the same.
And he never could quite get it going after that. But he's still in the league. What's going on with that?
Yeah, man.
His brain, man. His brain.
Yeah,
that's it.
True. Oh, but he's smart guy.
In 2009, when I was there, Freddie Roach was also working in the weight room. Now Freddie is the D-line coach at Alabama. What do you think about the evolution of Freddie Roach?
What?
From 2009, 10 to where he is now? Because you know the Freddie that I know.
Freddie Roach coached that by I don't know how many schools since I left. And I got Alabama again. He's the D-line coach. Man, I got to give it to Roach. Roach, man, he started from the bottom, really. He started from the bottom, and that started with us out there in the strength and conditioning room, all that, going through all that. Then, he went to the GA and all that stuff, and that's big. That's big.
Yeah,
congrats to him.
I got to give it up to Freddie, because like you said, when you start in that weight room, I opted out. I made up my mind. I wasn't putting all those hours in. I was like, this is not the job for me. I couldn't do it. But I'm happy to see his growth and where he is today. You got to truly be committed to it to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You make a lot of money doing it, but you don't have much time to spend the money. You don't have much of a life outside of coaching. And that's just not something I wanted to do. So I got to give it up to Freddie, man.
But just for you, Terrence, like, how hard was Saban on you, man?
He was hard on me.
Taking a minute,
but it was like
extremely hard in the beginning.
It was a tough love thing because, it was rough at the beginning. Like the first time he got on me about my weight and stuff.
Hey, I got to witness.
And he told me.
Well, I'll say this: most people, because I seen how he was on you when you first got there. Most people would have broke under that pressure and went about their business. But you stuck with it, and just seeing your growth and seeing how much weight you lost in those first 6 months of being there, you could tell that you were truly dedicated to the program and what you were there to do. So I applaud you, because again, most people would have broke under that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say this: you made life so much easier for Rolando McClain and the linebackers. Like, you really did. You made life a whole lot easier, because they knew Cody gonna take up 3 guys by himself.
Sometimes 4.
Hey man, as a former middle linebacker, that is a luxury to have a defensive tackle that's gonna hold a lineman, baby.
We knew Kenny Smith wasn't gonna do it.
Kenny was gonna sell me out every time. The bottom line is, no matter what defense we had called, Kenny gonna do something other than what he's supposed to do. So I always knew I'm gonna have to look out for the guard, the tackle, because Kenny all the way out here in the C gap when he's supposed to be in the A gap. I just knew Kenny gonna do what Kenny gonna do. And you know what? And you remember when we interviewed him, Kenny said the same thing. After the play over, I'm looking at him. Man, I thought I seen something. You ain't seen nothing, man. Get in your gap.
You always saw something.
Yeah, that was I seen something. No, you didn't see anything, Kenny.
Hey,
that's funny.
Kenny sound like Unc right now. Funny. Kenny sound just like Unc right now.
I kid you not. There were times when Kenny was supposed to press the guard. Kenny is all the way out here by the tight end. Like, you supposed to be pressing the guard. I'm going to stunt off your butt. So I run the stunt, get hit by the guard and the tackle, because you didn't do what you supposed to do, because you out here by the end, by the tight end, talking about you seen something. No, you didn't see anything, Kenny. You played with quite the cast of characters. You talked about D-line being the strength of the team. But before I get into that, am I right or am I wrong? Josh Chapman's hands look like that hamburger helper mitt off the hamburger helper box. Right or wrong? Man, Josh did this to me one day. And when I say I fell back about 5 feet, I'm like, man, if you don't get them heavy ass hands off me, man. You know Josh got them fat hands. Man, I'm talking about that dude's hands like.
That's my little brother, man.
Yeah, but tell me his hands don't look like encyclopedias. Them things is huge.
Bro, I swear he had a human-sized catcher's glove.
One day he did this to me just playing around. I was like, man, listen, you do it again, we fighting, man.
Yeah, man.
Real quick, we got a audience question real quick, Cody. So the Super Bowl or the national championship, which one was the best feeling to win?
I'll say Alabama. The winning the national championship is probably like my best feeling. It's probably my best feeling. And the reason why is because go ahead.
I was gonna say, which ring do you wear the most?
Super Bowl ring.
That's the one that you enjoyed the most, then.
Actually going to help us transition to our closing segment where we give Marvin the floor to talk about his book, how it's doing, how we can get our hands on a copy, and then some people who have recently been changed by it. Go ahead, Marvin.
40plusstrong.com, 40plusstrong.com, baby. Everything you need fitness-wise. The book is doing what the book does. I've actually been working on some stuff. We got a new promo video getting ready to come out next week. You're going to see some stuff that we've been doing. We're going to take it to a whole nother level, baby. So stay tuned, 40plusstrong.com. All
right. If you would, man, go ahead and let us know what to expect next week, who we'll have on, and all that good stuff.
You let them know. You supposed to know this.
I do know this, man, but I like to give you a little bit every now and then, man. You know, make you feel like you're a good announcer.
I'm going to let you drop this one. It's going to be a good one, though. It
really is a good one. Next week, guys, we have the living legend of Alabama sports anchoring, and that is none other than Mr. J.J. Pruitt. He was on our show last week. If you were able to catch that, if you didn't, you need to go back and watch it. This man has a great story, has a lot of great stories. One in particular has to do with interviewing Michael Jordan. So you definitely want to tune into that next week on the Bama Standard.
And he's interviewed Bo Jackson, baby. We're going to hear all about that. If you interview Bo Jackson, I will listen to you talk every day of the week. I'm sorry.